Hello everybody and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making strawberry lemonade concentrate that I will be water bath canning to be able to put on my shelves for the summer. So before we get started, I want to go through a few items that we'll be using today. So I will be using a 5-quart saucepan to bring everything up to temperature before we put it in the canner. I have my superb canning lids. I have my rings, my jars. I've pre-washed my jars, and I have checked all of them to make sure there's no nicks or anything in them. I have a thermometer that I will be using to make sure the temperature is correct. In a few minutes when we get to the ingredients, I'm gonna have to strain the lemons. So I have a sieve for that, just my spoon for stirring, my lemon juicer, a cutting board, a knife. Obviously the ingredients, I have strawberries, lemons, and sugar. And then I have just my measuring cups, a trash bowl, and my food processor to puree. And behind me here, you'll see that I have my Presto canner that can be either a water bath canner or a pressure canner. Today, we will just be using it for water bath canning. So come with me, let's go ahead and get our canner prepared and get it ready, and then we will move back into the preparation of the concentrate. So over here, I have the Presto canner. So if you want to come and look at the front. So on here, there's just this knob, and you can change between pressure canning and boil canning. So I'm going to do boil water canning. And then they said set it for 15 minutes. So I'm setting it for 15 minutes. Insert jars. But before I insert my jars, I do need to insert water. So I'm going to fill it up with water. I should have done this first. And what I like about this pressure canner or water canner is that it tells you exactly what to do on the screen. So for people like me that are not very proficient at canning but really like to try, it makes it very easy not to mess things up. And I will be using pint jars today. The recipe that I'm following says that it should yield 5 pints. I am going to go ahead and prepare 6 just in case. And if I need more than that, I'll just probably end up making some up today and not canning it. All right, let's see if this is enough for right now. Let's get our jars in. There we go. And I'll just fill it up to cover the jars now. Okay. So now I've inserted the jars. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. And then I push. And now it's going to warm up my jars, get them all ready to go in preparation for us to fill them. Okay, so now that I have my canner ready, we're going to come over here and we're going to start processing the fruit that we need. So the first thing we need is 6 cups of strawberries. So I'm just using store-bought strawberries right now. We do have about 25 to 27 strawberry plants outside in the backyard, but they're not quite ready yet. So let me go wash these off real quick and then I will be right back. Okay, so all I'm gonna do to get these strawberries ready is I'm just gonna cut the tops off, I'm gonna put them in my smaller bowl. And then I'm going to, just so that they're easier to measure, cut them into a couple smaller pieces. Nothing real small because we are gonna puree them. So just kind of to make it a little bit easier for measuring. I do hope one day to be able to do this with my own fresh strawberries from the backyard. Thought I saw a leaf. I'm gonna switch because I keep wanting to throw the tops. And actually I saw probably about a couple weeks ago online, usually what I do with my strawberry tops is I give them to my chickens. They love them as a nice sweet treat in the backyard. However, I have seen recently that people take them and boil them down and make strawberry syrup out of them. So I'm thinking I might try that with some of these to see if that works. I've seen several different recipes for it, so I will probably try that, and if it works, there might be a video coming soon for one of those. All right, so I am close to the 6 cups of strawberries that I need. So I'm going to probably cut up maybe 3 more strawberries, and that should be it. And then what you want to do with the strawberries is you want to puree them. So I have my food processor over here, and I'm just going to throw them in there and chop them up. That looks pretty good. So, all right, so now I'm just going to fill up my food processor. Maybe I'll wait and do some more. And I'm just going to put it on the puree mode, so this will be loud for just a second. Let me get a spatula. Go ahead and add the rest. And I'll scrape it one more time, and I think we should be good. Smells delicious. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is set that in the sink. We're gonna go ahead and get this into the pot. Borrow this. Okay. We got all that in the pot. Now, what I'm gonna do, let me throw these in the trash, is I'm gonna set these aside and then rinse my cutting board off. I did not need as many strawberries as I bought, so I might be making another round, but I wanna try this one first. Rinse my cutting board off, and then we're gonna work on the lemons. Okay, so now with the lemons, all I'm gonna do is cut them in half. Take my lemon, let me rinse this out. And then I need 4 cups of lemon juice. And so I have my line right there. These lemons are a little bit bigger than my juicer. Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay. As lemon juice goes everywhere. Ah! That's not what I want. I'm gonna be juicing a lot of lemons. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a bunch of them in half first, and then I'll do my squeezing. The recipe does say that it should be roughly 16 to 20 lemons to get the 4 cups that you need of lemon juice. And it does say fresh squeezed. I don't know if that makes a difference. It might make a difference in the freshness. I think I might try it one time with bottled lemon juice and see how it works, because I'm more apt to have that on hand than I am a case of lemons. Might need to get my son in here to squeeze lemons for me. Oh, goodness gracious. Definitely get a hand workout doing this. All right, so we were right at the end of juicing these lemons. I am going to go ahead and put these last 3 halves in there. Something that I didn't think about until the end of juicing is I've seen a lot of people, they'll roll their lemons on the counter. That one was juicy. And to release the juices beforehand. I did not do that, so I almost wonder if I would have gotten better results from them by doing that, but all the lemons I have did equal the 4 cups that I need. So even without doing that, I still have the 4 cups. So what you're supposed to do now is you're supposed to strain it to get the pulp and the seeds out, because there are seeds and pulp in here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it over the strawberries. I'm gonna dump it in there and strain it as I'm doing it. Oops. Pouring it slowly because it wants to pour down the side of the jar. Measuring cup, sorry. And all I'm doing now is I'm just scraping it to move it aside to let the rest of the juice come out and not the pulp or the seeds. Okay, so there's that. So now the only other thing I have to do is I need to put 6 cups of sugar in here. So I am going to go ahead and get this started and put it on. I'm going to actually not use that burner. I'm going to use this burner. There's something on that burner. I'm going to put it on medium high heat right now. So what I'm going to go ahead and while that's starting, I'm going to measure out my sugar, and it needs 6 cups of sugar. Remember, this is a concentrate, not the juice itself. So it is a lot of sugar, but it'll be diluted. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to stir this in and watch it until it gets to 190 degrees. You want it to get hot, but not boiling. Hot enough to dissolve all of the sugar and get everything mixed real well, but not, again, like I said, not to a rolling boil. So while this is coming up to temperature, I'm going to go ahead and get the kitchen cleaned up and get ready for the next step, which will be putting it into jars and water bath canning it.
Stepping out of the shadow in my room, caught between cowboy clouds and misty moon. Silver dress, sparkle eyes, crystal blue. I was lost to the menace of the mind, sucker punched by love most of my life. Told myself I would always toe the line. Tripped on life can switch from light.
All right, so we are at 183. We've just been sitting here stirring it. Now, what you guys didn't see while we were off camera, we were not happy with how many chunks were still in this, so we did go through and puree it one more time. There are still a few chunks, and that's fine, but in general, the consistency is much thinner. So we'll put some footage of that in here. But we are at currently 186. Remember, we're trying to get to 190. My pressure canner, which we're using it for water bath canning, not pressure canning, but my canner just beeped at me saying that it is ready. So if you look at the screen, you see that it tells you now that we need to fill the jars. And in just a second, when this gets up to temperature, we have 1 degree left. We will pull out the jars. We will fill them up. And a couple more things that I did not pull out in the beginning that we need for doing this as well. We just hit 190, so I'm turning it off. Is we need I'm using my jar grabbers. I do not know what they're officially called. That's what I call them, is jar grabbers. And we need a funnel. So I will grab those. So here is our puree. We are at 190. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Set that down. All right. Get my filler. So I'm just going to open up the canner and set the lid to the side. Now this is very hot water, and you don't want to put hot liquid into cold jars, and you don't want to put cold liquid into hot jars. So you want your liquid into your jars. I am doing this upside down. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day. Let's use my canning things the right way. There we go. That's going to work a lot better. So I'm going to get my jars out. I'm just emptying the water out. Okay, so I have all my jars. Now I'm going to grab my ladle. I'm going to put my funnel on, and then we're just ladling it in. And it said you want to leave a 1/4 inch headspace. So I usually go to right about the rim. I think that's more than a 1/4 inch, but that's, I'll do a little bit more. There we go. Mine might actually make the 6 jars. I didn't think it was going to. So now whenever you do make this, the ratio is 1 to 3. So 1 jar of this with 3 jars of water will make your 1/2 gallon of strawberry lemonade. So now I'm just going to top these to all right about a 1/4 inch. And I don't have that much left over actually. So it did make the 6 jars. I have enough that I will probably try and make a glass of it. All right, that's good. So I'm going to set this back over here out of the way. There is a little bit left in my pot, so I will make a glass of it here in just a little bit. Let me wipe this all up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe down the lid of my jars. On here, I have a little bit of white vinegar, and I'm just going to wipe each lid, getting the strawberry concentrate off. That's going to help it seal better. Or actually not seal better, but make sure it actually seals. Sorry, the jars are very warm. Okay, so now I'm going to take my lids and put my lids on. And these are brand new lids. And then my rings. And I'm just, these jars are hot, hot, hot. Just finger tightening. Ah, they're hot. All right, and then just load them back in the canner. Might need to take some of the water out of the canner now that the jars are full. Yeah. Let me get something to take some of this water out. All right. A little bit more. Try not to burn myself. Alrighty, let me dump this. It's hot. All right, now I'm gonna put the lid back on. And then I'm just gonna push. And so now it's gonna heat back up and can it for 15 minutes. And while we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and measure out how much concentrate I have left to see how much of a cup of juice I can make after I clean this up. Okay, let's see what I have left. Might need a bigger measuring cup. All right, this goes to half a cup. So let's see if I have half a cup's worth. All right, so I have roughly half a cup. That's gonna be close enough. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up with ice. Okay, so I have my ice. I have my concentrate. And then I need to do 3 more of these. One, 2, 3. right. And so now I will stir it up and we will see how it tastes. Make it official, put a lid on top. That is delicious. Now you can add more water or more, so you can see all the strawberry seeds and stuff in there. So if you don't like that and that texture bothers you, you might want to strain it a little bit more. It doesn't bother me, so I'm fine drinking that. It tastes very fresh, very flavorful. If you want it to be sweeter, you can add less water to make the concentrate a little bit stronger. If you want it a little less sweet, you can add a little bit more water to make it a little bit more diluted. I think the 3-to-1 ratio is a perfect ratio for it, and it is absolutely delicious. We'll come back in just a few minutes when the canner is finished to take the jars out and show you what the canned jars look like at the end. And I'm gonna go enjoy this strawberry lemonade right now. Thank you.
Stepping out of the shadow in my room, caught between cowboy clouds and misty moon. Silver dress, sparkle eyes, crystal blue.
Okay, so my canner just finished. It did the 15 minutes of water bath canning, and then it did a 5-minute cool down. So now I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. Use my towel. Just set my lid over here. Actually, I'll set it on the stove. All right, so we now have our jarred lemonade. Now remember, this is a concentrate, so this would take one of these jars of concentrate with 3 jars of water. And that's the ratio that they suggest, and that's the ratio I used when I made that single glass a few minutes ago. Oh, shoot. No, shoot. Crap. You're not supposed to turn the jars, and I just knocked that one all the way over. Hopefully that won't mess that up. We'll see. Might have to use that one first. And there we have it, the 6 jars of canned concentrate. So now we'll just sit here and listen for all of them to seal. When they seal, we'll let them sit, seal, take the rings off. They will completely cool before we will put them on the shelf. Thank you very much for joining us today in the kitchen. We'll be back soon with some more cooking recipes and more canning things for the summer. Bye for now.
For you.